All right, I have an even better example of that last paragraph that I showed you. So here I showed you that you could give an example, front of package label, say high in vitamin D or low sodium. I could go even more specific, and that's even better because, again, it's illustrating the point. So here, if you see, I have the same level 1 and level 2 sentence, but I'm using a very specific example. I say, for example, on a Frosted Flakes cereal box, it says in bright gold letters, high in vitamin D, although on the label, in small print, it notes there are 11 grams of sugar per serving along with 140 milligrams of sodium. And so there you have the level 3 sentence, and then you'd need to follow that up with this, this, or in other words, easy to be fooled by the pictures and the text on the cereal box. And then I'd want to follow up with another I say that then maybe leads me into the next idea or into the next paragraph even. So keep that in mind when you organize your body paragraphs. And the last thing I wanted to touch on was the order of your body paragraphs in your research paper. So what I would like for you guys to do is to go through all of your body paragraphs and maybe on the side identify the main idea of each body paragraph. And I've been able to do that a little bit for you in some of your papers so far. And then you'll be able to determine if they're in the right, most natural order or not. So here's an example of the order of paragraphs as I read them. I saw the intro, then they talked about organic labeling being deceptive, background of labeling practices, health effects, and then processed food and fast food labeling. So when you think about it, it didn't really flow, and I realized it was because of the order of the paragraphs themselves. What would make sense to do is to introduce your topic, if it's on labeling. Background information should come first, logically, because it's talking about the past leading up to now. That's what background is, right? So it helps the reader to read the background before going further with the topic. Then it would be more make more sense to then talk about fast food and processed food labels because you can kind of, especially if your thesis is that labels deceive consumers, because it makes sense. It's probably not shocking to the reader that fast food and processed food labels are hard to understand, and as a result, um, are linked to us overeating and developing health issues. So that makes sense to come next. And then after that, I would put the organic labels because this part is a little bit shocking, right? This part I get. The reader would probably expect that, but then the reader probably wouldn't expect the organic food to also have these deceptive labels. So I think that would naturally come after fast food. I would probably preface it by saying something like, well, not only do fast food and processed food have these hard to decipher labels, but even organic food does too. And here's why. And then after you're talking about, giving background information and context and evidence and explanations, it's then logical to put the effects at the end, right? You'll, this is what it's all building up to. Why should we care about all of these labeling practices and the fact that they're deceiving the consumer? Naturally, it's because they lead to negative health consequences. So this order makes more sense. And then, of course, conclusion at the end. So please go through your body paragraphs. Try to summarize each paragraph with one main idea, make sure that all of the evidence that I say all connect to the idea. So if you're talking about health effects in a paragraph, please don't be talking about organic labels and background of labeling practices unless it relates to health effects. So everything in the body paragraph should relate to that main idea. Then, once you've got it all logically in order, you need to add transitions between the body paragraphs. Just make sure they all connect to each other and they all connect back to your thesis. And then you guys are good to go. So I will post this Google Doc to our Moodle shell, and both the videos are there too. Refer to them if you need. Look at my comments. And lastly, email me if you want me to take a look at your paper with you online. All right, I'll see you on Wednesday.